afternoon. This room looks different. Shades up, windows open. It must mean that hot summer is last week's news. I don't know. That might be it. But it's good to see everybody today. So I will call to order the Nashville MTA board meeting. And first we'll do a roll call. Jessica Dobbin.
Present.
Catherine Hayes.
Present.
Jeff Haynes.
Present.
And Gail Carr-Williams present. Next on our agenda, if I could have approval of the July 24th, 2025 MTA board minutes.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second? There's a second. Any additions, deletions, discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 We have minutes. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is our public comment section. And first on my list is Wesley Smith. And as as you come to the podium, just a reminder to those giving public comments that it is 2 minutes and the timer is in front of you. So, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. My name is Wesley Smith.
Good afternoon.
I work at Walk Bike Nashville, and I'm also a member of the recently formed advisory committee on transportation. And I'm speaking to you today with both of those roles in mind. I wanted to speak today about the WeGo Ride program, which I think is a fantastic program in which WeGo partners with nonprofits and employers across Davidson County to provide affordable annual bus passes. You may have seen recently in the news that Walk Bike is pausing its bus pass program. But fortunately, I'm excited to say that we have been able to work with WeGo to continue this program for at least another year. And I want to thank WeGo for working with us on that. Walk Bike's program generated roughly 80,000 rides last year, which is a significant portion of the overall ride program. And in the sense that Walk Bike, any Nashvilleian can be a Walk Bike member, it is the most public-facing of the WeGo Ride programs, which I think is why it has been so successful. However, this renewal process has raised some concerns on a process side that I wanted to raise to the board. Namely, we were notified of a 100% rate increase just 3 weeks before our contract renewal from $25 to $50. Now, of course, $50 for an annual bus pass is still a great deal and great value for those that get it, but this caused some serious administrative headaches for us in the short term that caused us to almost close the program, and we would have had to cancel all of our over 800 quick tickets. So I'm asking that the board work with WeGo staff to have a minimum 90-day notice for rate increases and for further improvements to make this program more sustainable, because it is a great program. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Peter Robeson.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
You actually shockingly did, so congratulations.
Thank you.
My name is Peter Robison. I have a couple different hats. I actually had planned to be at this meeting in the context of my role as chair at the Vision Zero Advisory Committee. I've talked to several of you in that same context before, and I really appreciate WeGo's partnership with us. Keeping roads safe is something that we have to work hand in hand with WeGo. We oftentimes see that road fatalities or injuries happen near bus stops because it's a big traffic generator. And so WeGo's been a great partner with that. And so thank you. I actually came to say thank you for that and invite you to continue to work with us as we continue to work with other metro agencies. But after I saw some of the headlines, and I'm actually going to be echoing a little bit of what Wesley Smith mentioned, I want to come and say thank you for another thing. I and my family have been participating with the WeGo Pass that Walk Bike Nashville produced, and it has been fairly life-changing for our family. My daughter does not drive. It has made it so she can get to and from her school in Murfreesboro at MTSU. It has kept us riding rather than driving considerably more. And when we do not go downtown, we don't drive downtown anymore. It is too easy for us to get on a bus and be there instead. And so I just want to thank the WeGo generally for that program. It is a fantastic program. I really feel that WeGo is developing a constituency by getting us out of the habit of getting into a car and doing something else. And for everybody else for who it's not an option, it is a very reasonable, even at the increased price that it's likely going to be next year, it is a very good value for the money, and it gets more people on the bus, and it helps our traffic and everything else. So thank you for the program generally. I hope it can continue, and thank you for your continued work. I look forward to working with you with Vision Zero and WeGo generally.
Thank you. Peter O'Connor.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Once again, still breathing here to pester you guys. Okay, I just have a few things. One that I've been trying to push for, shelters at the stops on Lebanon Pike, right by where I live at, right by where the water department entrance is, the in and outbounds. Still looking to get stops or shelters installed there. Somebody put a small plastic stool out there, which tells me that obviously somebody needs to be able to sit while waiting on the bus, and there's nothing there. So I'm still looking, to get something like that put out there. Next one is that I know I mentioned this a long time ago, and I still need to bring it up. Customer service still needs to be open from the time that the first bus leaves Central to the time that the last bus completes its run, because so long as buses are running, people are still out there needing information and whatever else that they need to communicate with. And Lyft and Uber are still parking at the bus stop when buses are pulling up. Usually that's the stop where I go to at the corner of Demonbreun and 4th Ave South, right by the Skirmahorn. And the number 6 bus, a couple of times I've seen one of those high-rise buses, they look like a travel type bus. Twice that went by number 6 up on the header, destination, everything. I'm standing there as it drives by going like, and the second time though, the driver was saying, I'm only out here to pick up high school kids. So, but that doesn't do much for us. Thank you.
Darius Knight.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I want to say this to any of the staff watching and to the staff that's here. Treat each other kind. Try to respect one another. If you have a difference, an opinion with somebody else, try to talk it out. If you can't, walk away. Please do not resort to any type of violence or threats. Because you don't know how your actions will affect somebody else. On the other side of that, I'm just going to ask the staff, with your new bus operators that are coming in, it's quite a few of them. That's a good sign. Let's please make sure that they are very understanding what customer service means, though. Some of them seem to be struggling. They're paying attention to the road, but their attitude is very poor to the supervision as well as the customer. So if you can, in your training program, can you ask Ms. Riggs to provide some of her excellent customer service agents to spend some time with those operators during the training course. She has quite a few of them that they work magic, because even they have been able to calm me down when something has happened that is very severe. So that is one of the reasons why I'm requesting that. And the other side of it is keep yourself safe. If you see something, please say something. So those employees that are watching, don't tell me every time you see me. Go to your supervisors and let them know exactly what's going on. Or go to security and let them know. I'm not saying don't come tell me, because I still will report it, but you have a responsibility to this job to let them know what's going on to keep us all safe. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Those are all the cards that I have for public comments. Is there anyone else wishing to make a public comment? Anyone else wishing to make one? Seeing no one at the podium, I will close the public comment section of our agenda at this time. Next on our agenda is the information only items. We have 3 items: the monthly financial report, the monthly operating statistics, and the upcoming procurement projects list. I would ask my fellow board members, would any of you like to pull any of those items and have a discussion? Hearing no requests, I will remind you all, if you do later have questions, make certain you contact the staff member who was responsible for the report. Consent agenda item. We have one item on the consent agenda item, which is the TriStar Digital Connection Service Contract increase. I would ask, would any board members like to pull that out for discussion prior to voting on the consent agenda? Hearing none, if I could have a motion for the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Ms. Donovan, I'm going to turn Operations and Finance over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I appreciate
welcome.
that. All right, time for the Operations and Finance Committee. First up is it looks like an action item to Claims Management Third-Party Administrative Services Contract Modification, and Vince Malone will walk us through this.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Board members, I appreciate it. I'm here for item number MA25034, which is our Claims Management Third-Party Administrative Service Modification Contract here. Back in September 2023, we requested this board to authorize our CEO to sign a contract with Charles Taylor for claims management that involved our auto and general liability and workers' comp claim management services. That total contract was about $610,500. That contract consisted of a 3-year term with 2 additional 1-year terms. Throughout that process in reporting our claims administration and other services that required, the total project budget was about $671,500 with the $61,000 discretionary amount that we had there. During the first year of the contract, we had some costs that were significantly higher due to a claim back in August of 2023. That claim had somewhere around 16 personal injuries, and it was really an outlier to our system for the most part, a very bad accident, and quite a bit of property damage as well. With that, and then some upticks in some of the claims with automobile liabilities, where we have third-party cars that are being repaired and such, that has kind of caused a little bit more in the claim management system. So with those increases, the volume of claim processing for the first half and second year has shown some market decline. I want to thank our safety team, specifically Nick Odom and his team and their folks, done a great job on the safety and also our workers' comp, really kind of helping kind of manage a lot of those different areas there too. Overall, the anticipated spend for the remainder of the contract is expected to exceed a total project budget amount of about $130,000. That's $100,000 in the auto and general liability, and then for claim processing on workers' comp, another $30,000 in management fees there. So I'm here as staff to request that the board authorize our CEO to add $100,000 to our auto GL and claim processing, and $30,000 for our workers' comp claim processing for Charles Taylor, to increase the overall total contract value to $801,500. Funding the contract will be assigned to our operating budget for the authority.
Thank you, Vince.
Sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Will this take us through the rest of the 3-year contract? And then what will happen with the potential 2 one-year contract extensions?
This will take us through this, the 3-year, and then we will have options on each of the next 2 years. And we do believe with this increase, it should be able to manage us all the way through the next 2 options as well. I will say this, I will just put this to the board. With claims, you just never know, I'll be honest with you. And a lot of times that has to do with claims costs. Like I think the cost of repairing a vehicle has increased quite a bit over the last few years, about 3 or 4 years as I understand it, but also too with some certain tariffs. Those things have really cost a lot of things to kind of increase as well. So, but overall, I think we should be in good shape for the end of the contract with the extensions, the options as well.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Any more questions for Mr. Malone? Catherine?
I had one, and I think you may have just answered it. The services they're providing, it is both the claim processing and substantive payment of the claims?
Yes, they do the claim management and the claim payment as well.
Okay, that's what I wanted
So they
to
manage
confirm.
everything from workers' comp even down to the general liability as well.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question. Anyone else? Well, seeing none, I, as my role as the chair of the Operations Finance Committee, make a motion to approve MA-25-034 as recommended by staff.
Second.
There's a motion and there's a second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I will call for the vote for approval of MA 25034, the Claims Management Third-Party Administrator Service Contract Modification. All those in favor say aye.
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 It is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Thanks, Vince. Okay, next up is the Enterprise Resource Planning Consultant Services, M-A-25-035. It is also an action item, and we are going to hear from Shelley McElhaney.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon.
By a show of hands, I would like you to tell me if any of you know what ERP stands for. Okay, you've ruined my opening. Thank you. I am still here to tell you all about ERPs, okay? Okay, ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, which is a type of business management software that integrates and centralizes an organization's core processes and data into a single system. It works by connecting different departments and functions like finance, grants management, procurement, HR, and asset maintenance to a shared database, providing real-time visibility and a single source for all business information. Excuse me. The integration of business functions through a good ERP system creates seamless data flow, which in turn will streamline operations, reduce errors, improve efficiency, and create better flow of communication. As you well know, WeGo recently entered a historical new era with the passage of Choose How You Move, creating an instantaneous complexity to how we gather, manage, maintain, and report financial activities, procure assets and resources, provide oversight and security of those resources for our organization. It's also instigated a growth spurt in personnel and operations, the likes of which I have never experienced in my 30 years with WeGo. The epic infusion of resources and responsibilities has made the need for a robust business management software, or ERP system, mission critical for the future of our organization. For many years, WeGo's finance and procurement departments have relied on rudimentary and in some cases outdated systems and processes. When I first started working at WeGo, we were still using a DOS-based financial system, but in early 1999, my team excitedly, and with some intrepidation, transitioned to a new cutting-edge Windows-based program called ACPAC. The name eventually changed to Sage, but now, 25 years later, we are still using that same system. So I think we can all agree it's time for an upgrade. To that end, in March of this year, the Procurement Department published an RFP for consulting services to help WeGo find and implement an enterprise resource planning system. Given the complexity of a fully functional ERP system, the use of consulting services is vital, from assisting the project team in navigating the assessment of our current processes and systems to overseeing the installation and integration of a new ERP system, as well as the important steps that will come in between. These consultants will be a support for planning future business processes, developing the RFP solicitation for an eventual acquisition of software and hardware, and will bring a plethora of knowledge and best business practices to help WeGo fully capitalize on this new system's capabilities. The RFP for consulting services was advertised in several publications and was also sent directly to over 2,000 firms. 6 responsive proposals were received and reviewed by the evaluation team, rating each based on 4 key components: project approach and work methodology, the proposing team's qualifications and experience, key personnel assigned to the project, and of course, costs. After a thorough evaluation of the proposals, eVision Partners came out on top, bringing prior experience with WeGo to the table through the recent work on EAM project and the Oracle Unifier project, as well as extensive experience and expertise on ERP assessments. With cost proposals ranging between almost $650,000 to just over $4.3 million, eVision Partners coming in at $1,097,145 was deemed fair and reasonable and included a significant amount of allocation for resources to the project. Funding for the project will be provided through the capital investment plan with an initial $150,000 already programmed for Task 1 in the board-approved capital plan. So with all of this information in mind, staff is requesting the board's authorization for the Chief Executive Officer to enter into a contract with eVision Partners for ERP consulting services for an initial 3-year term and 2 additional 1-year options for a total not to exceed amount of $1,097,145.
Great work. Thank you so much, Shelley. I appreciate that. You know, I'm a big fan of streamlining and efficiencies, so it's nice to see that this would be an overall enterprise resource for the agency, aligning a lot of those. I like that image you had of how they all will feed in, from grants management to resources and assets and that. So that's great. Are there any questions for Shelley?
25 years, huh? I agree with you that it might be time to upgrade.
Yes, indeed.
I do have a question. You're not using dial-up, are you?
We weren't back then. We were close.
Brilliant. Well, it's nice to see you improving on over 25 years of the same program. At least it's not MS-DOS, right? So, as the chair of the Operations and Finance Committee, I make a motion for the board to approve M-A-25-035 as recommended by staff.
Second.
There's a motion, second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I will call for the vote on the MA 25035, the Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP, Consultant Services. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well done. Congratulations. The motion carries.
We continue to make big moves as an agency. Okay, up next, and I think this might be the last for the Operations and Finance Committee. Is that correct? That's right. It's our favorite time, and our favorite presenter is Katie Freudberg with the quarterly route performance report.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Ridership in April, May, and June of 2025 was about 2% higher than the same quarter last year, although you can see that the gains were not at all evenly distributed across our routes. Some of that reflects response to the major service changes that we made last year on March 31st, 2024. which was also the last time that we added service until July 6th of this year. So you'll see that there's no changes in service hours across the board here. And that's something that you likely will not see again for a while. Some of our local routes saw major increases in ridership. One of those was Route 34 Opry Mills. It was about 11% higher than last year. Ridership on Saturdays was about 20% higher than last year. This route is very challenging to keep on time on the weekends. So we are looking at adding another bus to this route, both in response to the ridership and the challenges with keeping it on time with the January service changes to improve frequency, reliability, and just the quality of the run for the operators on it. Another local route that saw a significant amount of growth was Route 41 Golden Valley, which saw a 45% increase in ridership compared to last year. This route switched from being a peak-only route to operating hourly from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. In the March 2024 service changes. And so this increase in ridership is just a continued response to that increase in service. We've seen passengers using it for access to jobs at UPS and FedEx near Green Lane, which there were a lot of shifts previously that people couldn't get to. We still are hearing requests for access to additional shifts. And the Nashville Auto Diesel College just moved from Gallatin Pike to Brick Church Pike, which is on Route 41 Golden Valley. And they've requested service for night classes, among other things. So we are also looking at extending service later on this route in January and adding a limited amount of weekend service. We've seen some major swings on ridership on the frequent network as well in both directions. The biggest decline was on Route 23 Dickerson Pike, both in relative and absolute terms. Looking at the ridership, this is a route that had been steadily growing until fairly recently. There's not one single place on the route where we're seeing this decline in ridership. It appears to be just across the corridor. There is a noticeable decline in peak ridership, which would seem to point to fewer people using it to access maybe traditional 9-to-5 jobs, as well as a decrease in student ridership. And looking at student ridership specifically, that does account for about 50% of the drop in ridership during the months when school's in session. But again, it's not concentrated in one place. It's not like it's one specific school that's causing that. And then in the opposite direction, Route 56 saw growth of over 7%, around 21,000 additional rides compared to last year. Here as well, the growth appeared to be generally across the corridor, not concentrated in one specific area. And here we saw the most increase in ridership after 7 p.m., about 17% increase in ridership compared to last year. And hopefully we'll see that continue to increase. In July, we added additional evening and weekend frequency to this route. So we do expect that to continue to increase. And then lastly, WeGoLink, while we're still looking at relatively small numbers here, it did see a 300% increase in ridership over last year. In that time, we added 4 new zones. Those accounted for less than 20% of the growth. Most of the growth was in existing zones. Around 20% of the growth was increases in ridership in the South Nashville WeGoLink zone, which is now operating as a free zone with TDOT support to provide safe access during a major construction project on Nolensville Pike. The South Nashville zone and the Antioch zone together account for about half of the program's ridership. The ridership in those areas is still around 30 passengers a day, so we won't be able to use these ridership trends to completely define new connector routes that we're planning to add in South Nashville, but they will be one thing that informs the alignments of those routes. That concludes my report. I'm happy to take any questions or comments.
Thanks, Katie. That was a thorough report. What I heard was a lot of response to trends in terms of trying to align routes and frequencies based on ridership needs. So I think that's just excellent news for me. Are there any questions for Katie about the performance report?
What surprised you the most, either increase or decrease?
The drop on the 23. I'm still fairly baffled by such a significant drop on the 23.
Knowing you, you'll continue to dig to figure out why it happened. You need that answer.
We'll find those people.
Okay. And some more, no doubt, by the next quarterly report. Well, that's interesting. It will be interesting to figure out why it was such a huge decrease, though.
Right, no doubt. I mean, overall, just what is it, 2 or 3% increase with some wild increases and decreases across the board. So very interesting indeed. But overall, I think a positive report. Anything else for Katie? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
It is my pleasure to hand it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Oh, well, thank you. Very good report today. And next on our agenda, we have, bless you, yes, new initiatives. And since Mr. Thompson cannot be here today, I will just call on Amanda to present for us. Thank you.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, Chair Williams and board members.
Good afternoon.
Today, I will give you an initial overview of the Journey Pass program. And so for those who were looking deep in the weeds, we had previously in very early iterations of this program called it the LIFT program or the Low Income Fare Ticket program. It is now the Journey Pass program. So from now forward, I will be referring to it that way. The Journey Pass program was announced by Mayor Freddie O'Connell as one of his first 11 Choose How You Move projects after passage of the referendum in November. And we have been working to define the program with various stakeholders throughout the spring and summer of this year. And now we're ready and excited to bring it to you for a first look so we can help shape rollout. And we have planned action items coming to you, 2 different action items coming in October for the Journey Pass program. But before I continue, I'd like to recognize a few folks in the room who've been instrumental in this process so far. First, Kendra Apkowitz here, the Acting Director for Choose How You Move and Senior Director of Sustainability and Resilience. She's been leading this for the Mayor's Office and has been such a great partner with our staff to develop the program. And also our staff members, Dan Freuberg and Zita Riggs, who is here, have been leading with a cross-functional group of folks from different departments within WeGo to really look through the details of how we can get the passes into people's hands by the end of this year. So I'll defer all the hardest questions to these 2 since they showed up. So today, program goals, I'll start with that because I think it's very important to start with the goals of the program. The engagement that we've done over the past few months was kind of like a look at the program roles that we're looking at for our partners, a draft framework of what the Journey Pass program looks like today, our timeline, what we're looking at for rollout as we near the end of this calendar year, and then some next steps. So when we all gathered together in the spring to start talking about this, we thought it was really important to first back up and establish a very clear goal for the program. If you look at peer programs across the country, it varies widely based on what their intent was of the program. So it's very important for us to first understand what we want to do and then let that guide the process. After talking with both our internal teams, the Mayor's Office, and our stakeholders, we landed on a very simple overall program goal. The Journey Pass program aims to provide free transit services to Davidson County residents who need it the most. Very simple, simply stated. And we looked at 3 design goals. Maximizing access for eligible Journey Pass users, simplifying the process for both our customers and also the administrators of the program, and minimizing abuse without impacting legitimate use. So every time we were presented over the months with a question about designing the program, we then looked back at these goals and we wanted to make sure when we answered that question, were we making sure to meet these goals? And it was very helpful for us. So In the early summer, we started engaging 26 different potential partners that ranged from a variety of Metro-affiliated departments all the way to advocacy organizations. We wanted them to be at the table with us, helping us to define the program. So as we're rolling it out, their input has been part of that process. So we looked at 2 different potential program roles. The first is kind of being a friend of the Journey Pass program. So some folks who can get the message out to their groups and be able to put it on social media and hand out information, but mostly just getting people to the registration sites as a friend of the program. But then there's a much more detailed program role of actually distributing the Journey Passes. So verifying and actually registering participants and handing them the passes at those sites. And that's a key piece of the design of the program. We've actually had several partners very interested in talking with us about that partnership opportunity. So more on that in a moment. So based on all of this input over the past few months, I'll walk through a few of the key assumptions in our framework. The first is we have this wonderful medium called the Quick Ticket Init system, which is a perfect medium for us to be able to use the Journey Pass program, or to use for the Journey Pass program. It's essentially going to be a ticket type under the Quick Ticket program. Another big assumption is if you have a Journey Pass, you would be able to have free access on all MTA bus services, WeGo Access, WeGo Link, base fare only, RTA Bus, and WeGo Star services. So that notably does not include WeGo Access on demand, nor does it include van pool services for RTA. The Journey Pass program, because it's funded through the Choose How You Move program, which is collected in Davidson County, we felt it was important to limit this to residents of Davidson County. And finally, the next is we looked at a 2-pronged structure where we would determine if a person may receive a Journey Pass. So the first, and which we'll focus more on, is the first phase of this rollout, is looking at our partners and any of their customers. And if they're a customer of one of our partners, that partner then will verify that they have a demonstrated need and help distribute the card to them that way. And there's a secondary avenue where we'd show demonstrated need later in the program rollout, where we'd actually have an online portal through Hub Nashville, and it'd be open to the public where they could come to WeGo Central to submit their verification and register for a Journey Pass. But that is intended to be the full expansion of the program, not the initial focus as we roll out. And I'll tell you more about that reasoning in a moment. We're also looking at what those thresholds might look like for that expansion phase when we get to that point. So more on that to come. A key assumption of the program is we're partnering with other Metro departments, and we're partnering to verify the demonstrated need and register and distribute Journey Passes that way, rather than opening it to the public all at once. Each Journey Pass would be loaded on a qualifying Quick Ticket account. So you'd be able to take your whatever Quick Ticket is in your wallet or in your mobile wallet, and that would then be connected to a Journey Pass. We'd upload the Journey Pass onto there, and you could ride our services for free using that same Quick Ticket medium. If for the folks who do not have a Quick Ticket card yet, we would issue them a new Quick Ticket card and upload the Journey Pass onto that. And now looking at our third design goal was minimizing abuse. So it's very important to us that each Journey Pass is directly tied to an individual, and that we have, that individual has some verified demonstrated need. And so each Journey Pass would have an individual's name, date of birth, and other qualifying information to make sure that we are registering one person per pass. And I know a question might come up when I finish here, that what about the Stride program and the WeGo Ride program? So right now we're looking to keep those separate. Anyone who currently qualifies for the Stride program and is a participant of the WeGo Ride program would not qualify for Journey Pass in the first phase. We are looking at, though, having household dependents of a Journey Pass user between the ages of 5 and 18 being able to qualify as a Journey Pass user as well. very important is and I'm looking at my colleague in the safety and security side, the MTA Code of Conduct. It is going to be contingent upon following our Code of Conduct, and if we find a Journey Pass user not following the Code of Conduct, we'll be able to suspend that Journey Pass for a certain time period. And then finally, very important to me, is we are reimbursing this through Choose How You Move at $2 per ride based on the MTA board approved fare policy. And so that's something to note, that we will see more than likely reductions in our traditional fare revenue as this program rolls out. We'll be watching it and making sure that we fully understand the implications on the revenue side. Also to note, the connector card and the cold weather cards that we currently provide with no associated fare box revenue would be funded through this program eventually. So that is a really great critical funding source for that program, or those programs. Okay, so where are we today? Well, I noted we held several different meetings with our 26 different partners, 3 different workshops over the summer, and we have an advisory committee member here today. We presented to our advisory committee, the Choose How You Move Advisory Committee, a similar packet like this back in the summer, June 2nd. And each of those presentations were very enlightening for us, and we were able to refine the program in real time working with these stakeholders. Now we are here today presenting it to you, hoping to get your feedback as we look ahead to hopefully next month testing with several of our partners. And then in October, when we come back to you, we're hoping that we're starting to roll out in soft launches with some of our partners. And then we'll start monitoring from then on out on how that's going to look, how adoption goes, and the impacts. So our program rollout is designed in 2 major phases. The first is the soft launch, which we are entering into very soon. We're having conversations right now in partnership with the Mayor's Office, with the Metropolitan Action Commission, Metro Social Services, Metro Schools Hero Program, Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency, and the Office of Homeless Services. We're also, we just had one of our meetings earlier today. We have meetings scheduled with the Metro Office of Family Safety, Juvenile Court, Metro Public Health, and more in the next month. So we're very excited to continue our conversations with some of these soft launch partners over the next month. As our partners are brought online, we are going to be actively monitoring the impacts of program rollout and making adjustments. And at some point, we will consider an expansion phase, where we would have an online portal and an in-person registration at WeGo Central. So why this phased approach? Why would we do this soft and then instead of turning it all on at once? Well, given the implications and the potential impacts of this program, both financially on the Choose How You Move program, but also operationally on WeGo, we feel this is really less risky and more conservative, so that we can monitor the program and make adjustments in real time based on the data we're seeing. So some of the impacts we are potentially going to be looking at: pass distribution and testing pass distribution and the verification process, ridership changes, how many new rides are going to be our existing customers versus brand new customers? Are we able to service those new customers with the funding we have today? WeGo Access is a specific one I'll be focusing on because the usage could increase, and that's a significant cost implication to our budget. Safety and security needs, looking at you, Nick, and then financial implications for the broader Choose How You Move program. So those are the areas that we're going to be watching as we begin rolling out. So next steps, we're continuing our discussions with our soft launch partners. We're developing an MOU with the Mayor's Office and several of the partners, which will be one board action item in October for your consideration. And we'll also be developing a board policy, which will be the second action item for your consideration in October. Felix and his group is working on the Title VI analysis, which will go with our winter service change Title VI analysis work. Additional one-on-one meetings with our soft launch partners. And finally, for that expansion phase, we're still talking about what the income thresholds may look like, if we'll provide self-certification options, and what that may look like. And finally, a draft online forum with Hub Nashville for the expansion phase. So with that was a lot of information. I'm happy to answer any questions. But again, if they're hard, there's 2 people here who can answer it even better than I can. So questions?
So first, that was super thorough and interesting, so thank you for that. Is part of what is to be developed the specification or requirements that our partners would use to ensure someone's eligible for a Journey Pass? That is to be developed?
So that's the way we're designing it right now, that will depend very much on the partner we're talking to. So MDHA will have very specific programs that we're going to say, well, this program, because of the people who participate, we feel this qualifies just automatically. We're not going to ask them to then re-verify that their income is a certain threshold, right? So there's certain programs that would just be Journey Pass eligible for that partner.
Participants of the program.
Right. And so we'll be working through each of those relationships with each partner to determine which programs and which customers of theirs would be eligible.
And then once someone qualifies for a Journey Pass, how long is that qualification good for? Is that also something that is dependent on the organization, or that's something to come in the planning?
So that's part of the framework we've been discussing, and we've been sounding that with our partners, and we got various different feedbacks from different partners. We were looking at something like 3 years, looking at our design goals. It made sense to not overburden both the administrators and the users with having to self-verify that they still qualify for Journey Pass, but also wanting to minimize that risk of abuse. So it's not something that's been set in stone yet, but we're still considering how long someone would be active as a Journey Pass member.
Okay, thank you.
There would, however, be a time limit to it where people would have to recertify after whatever that period is.
Right.
We're just trying to figure out what that time limit is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you, Steve.
Amanda, for those riders that do not have a relationship with your partners, how do they submit their information, and who's responsible and what happens to that data?
So right now with the soft launch phase, we would not have that open public option yet, but that will be coming very soon after, where folks who were not affiliated at all with any of the partners, that we'll have a very large amount of partners in the soft launch phase. But for the folks who aren't affiliated with any of them, if they cannot be, then they would have to go through the expansion phase option.
So once you get past that phase and you do go to the phase, who would be the administrator of those who are not part of it? Have you thought about it yet? Who might be that administrator?
It would be WeGo,
Okay.
the way we're designing it.
Okay.
Through our customer care portals.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the idea that WeGo would be gathering economic and personal information from folks?
The
who
goal
are-
is both from an access standpoint and also an administrative standpoint to keep it as simple as possible.
Okay.
Right.
When I've worked with similar programs in other states, it's really been, there might be 8 or 10 programs that, are income related that you could check, if I receive program X and I certify to that, and that there's not a whole lot of additional information required to keep that process simple.
From our point of view, at least the way we've designed it, it's first name, last name, date of birth. And that helps us at least understand that this is one person that's different than a different person with the same name. And that's meeting, again, the goal of minimizing abuse, but not dissuading folks from being able to use the program, from making it overly burdensome.
Yeah, I would say let's focus on both ends. Like, I want to make it as user-friendly and available as possible, so that people are not overburdened with what information they may be asked for or have to provide. And then on the back end, I think that probably helps WeGo if we can minimize the storage of a significant amount of personal data related to riders. I think that also benefits us short-term and long-term. So I think the simplicity benefits us on the front end and the back end to the extent we can focus on that when we're sort of building out that aspect of the program.
Thank you.
I think one of the nice things about the phased approach that the team has developed is we'll obviously have some early experiences and be able to look at trends and see what some of the issues are that we can make adjustments before there's, later phase rollout.
Amanda,
Yes,
do we
ma'am.
have like a maximum participation?
Right
Like
now,
a ceiling?
we would not have a ceiling right now, but that's why we're doing the soft launch, because we don't want to get into a place where we've had so much folks applying that we can't process them and we can't get a hold of the financial implications that may follow and operational implications that may follow. So we're asking our partners to give us rough estimates of how many people they think, one, that they have that could qualify, and then how many people they think would be interested. And we're giving kind of a, okay, here's your low-hanging fruit. Do you have 30 or 40 people who want to test with us? Next month, do you have 200 people who want to join? In October or November, do you have a couple programs that have a couple thousand people, or 2,000 or 10,000 people? At that point, we're going to start building up, but we want to start really small so we don't get, we've seen some peers who've gotten a very large adoption very quickly, and we don't want to be in that situation.
Thank you.
One more question, and I feel like every time I tell you one more question, it's not one more question,
They're
but
great
I'm going to try
questions.
really hard. One more question. And I think I understood this from the presentation, but I wanted to make sure. So the Journey Pass holders will simply have our standard quick ticket, and the fact that they are Journey Pass participants would be available in all the electronic wonder that is stored on a quick ticket, but not visible to anyone else. So that's okay.
We're trying to limit any chance of there being a stigma tied to it. It would not look any different. It is a quick ticket card. We're even talking with Dan, thank goodness we have Dan here on the staff, about making sure that when you tap it, it just shows like any other card instead of
Excellent.
what in it would have said Journey Pass, but we don't want it to say that. So we're going to type it into where it says the exact same thing that anybody else when they tap it.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I appreciate that sensitivity.
Thank you.
And making certain that the Journey Pass is on their quick ticket will once again come through our customer service department. Is that correct?
It will, Zeta, hi Zeta. It will for when it needs to, but ideally we're limiting our administrative burden and meeting people where they are today and having our partners actually verify and hand the passes out themselves. And it would go through WeGo. We would have a listing with our partners of who's a Journey Pass member, and we'd watch it on the back end, but they would be distributing it. Did that answer your question?
Sort of.
Okay.
And I might just be, I think so. So they don't have to reload. It just always goes unless it gets taken away through code of conduct or something like that, right?
They would, so that gets back to that time limit question. So depending on the time that we set, which I don't think we're at a point where we've decided what that would be, but there would be a time limit for being a Journey Pass member, and then at a certain point you would need to re-verify that you qualify for a Journey Pass in some form or fashion. So that would be the time when they would either go to our registering partners, or they would go to WeGo to re-verify that they are indeed eligible for Journey Pass, and then it would re-verify for that time period, except for the code of conduct violation.
So I'll get the visual out of my head that they have to reload. Like if you're buying it differently, you have to reload when you use it all up. So they don't have to reload.
It's an
Unlimited.
unlimited use card
Okay, yeah.
during that,
Okay.
whatever that period is
Gotcha.
determined to be.
Exactly.
Thanks.
What a great development. Thank you so much. What a great report. It looked great, and a lot of great information. You're obviously doing a lot of work as a team with other Metro departments, and it's just wonderful to see the collaboration.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Amanda. So that concludes the NICE report. So, Mr. Bland, I'm going to turn it over to you. Great job, Amanda, and thank you very much. I'm very comprehensive, and Kendra, thank you for being here. And Zita, you're all over the whole agenda today. So it's nice to know that your touch has been put on this. So thank you. Steve, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, board members. Just a few items to report. While Katie's resting when she's not looking for lost riders on the 23, after the successful launch of our first wave of service expansion back in July, on our Choose How You Move expansion, staff are already planning for the January set of service expansion. That should come to you for action in October after we complete the typical Title VI analysis. But early on, still finalizing some of the things that we're looking at. And again, we still won't have expansion buses, so we're looking at off-peak improvements in service. So a lot of what we're looking at is improvements in midday span on the routes 3 and 52, an additional WeGo Link zone that will bring us to 19 zones, and weekend and weekday evening frequency improvements on the Route 7. So those are some of the things that you can expect to see coming in October. Earlier this month, we were joined by Mayor O'Connell to publicly announce the activation of our open payment system. This is like all fare, all day today. With open payment, riders have additional convenience in paying their fares by being able to use their credit cards, debit cards, and mobile wallets that are enabled for contactless payment via Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay. And as long as you use the same mechanism, the same card, or the same payment app on your phone for each of the transactions, all of the fare benefits like fare capping are applicable to those, as well as they are to Quick Ticket. I want to thank Jessica for representing the board and making the comments at the event. And fortunately, when the mayor used his contactless card, it worked like a charm. So thanks again to Dan and our fare collection team for that. Also during August, we had the opportunity to host a team of leaders from the transit agency in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Metrolink Tulsa, they do essentially peer visits every year, and decided on Nashville this year. And over the course of their day-long visit, they toured most of our major facilities, shared information on our programs, on their programs, and we had good peer networking. So directors of maintenance with directors of maintenance, and marketing people with marketing people. And it was really kind of nice, really in two ways. Number one, to learn about what they're doing. They're doing quite a bit in the microtransit realm and some BRT things. And also to realize how far we've come, because they certainly recognized a lot of what we've been able to accomplish. I'm really happy to report that Eric Beyer and I were able to accompany Catherine to her interview with the Rules and Nominations Committee of the Council. She apparently aced the interview because the committee unanimously recommended and the council unanimously approved her reappointment to another 5-year term on the board. So, Catherine, from the staff's viewpoint, we're delighted to have you back. Thank you. And speaking of kudos to board members, I was delighted to participate in 2 events for the Transit Alliance this month. Several of us joined the Transit Citizens Leadership Academy graduates and new class for the Alliance's Transit Champions reception. And I was also pleased to join my peers from Clarksville Transit and Murfreesboro Transit at the opening class of the Transit Citizens Leadership Academy to talk about regional transit and cooperative efforts going on among Murfreesboro Transit, Clarksville Transit, and WeGo Public Transit. So once again, thanks, Jessica, for the invitations. Several members of our leadership team joined Mayor's office staff from the Choose How You Move program for a day-long tour of Metro Nashville Police Department facilities and activities. And that was organized by Captain Brian Williams, our transit police liaison. I don't think Brian's here today, but really a tremendous effort on a lot of work he put into it. We saw an awful lot of facilities and met with a lot of the senior leadership team at MNPD. So, and both as WeGo CEO, but also as a citizen of Nashville, I can say I feel a whole lot better, a whole lot safer after seeing everything that they're up to. So really appreciate the efforts of Captain Williams and the Metro Nashville Police leadership team. In similar vein, we had productive meetings with MNPD regarding the Memorandum of Understanding between MNPD and WeGo regarding the transit policing unit. So we basically worked off quite a bit off of what they're doing with schools and some other models nationally to articulate some of the key roles and responsibilities. So now it is out of our hands. It is in the hands of people like Vince and Margaret and Metro Legal to draft language, and we'll be returning to the board with that document for recommended approval action once they've completed that work. Lastly, I'll close with some of our RTA activities. Design work is continuing on the public improvements to Donaldson Station for a new transit center there. That's a 6-bay bus transit center, relocation of the access road, relocation of above-ground utilities, a new traffic signal, and quiet zone improvements at 2 of our ground level grade crossings. So that will be moving through design for the rest of this year. Should be into public engagement by late this year, and then into permitting and hopefully bidding construction next year. Speaking of regional transit, as we speak, Debbie Frank is in Murfreesboro celebrating with Murfreesboro Transit the dedication of their new transit center. And that's particularly important for us because we will be developing on the RTA side a park and ride lot immediately next door. Thanks to Vince's Bulldog efforts, we were able to close on the church property last month. And as I've always said, once you can get the suits and ties out of a project and the hard hats in, things move faster. Literally within 2 weeks of closing, we had the church knocked down to the ground and the site cleared. So Kia Lewis is leading the design work on that project in collaboration with the city of Murfreesboro. So that one's now moving along pretty well. And then lastly, we met with staff from the TMA group this month. They administer the Van Star Vanpool program for RTA. So we're examining opportunities to expand that program to many of our other counties in Middle Tennessee. So I expect we'll be presenting to the RTA board on that topic in the coming months. So, Madam Chair, unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
I don't have anybody have any. God bless you. Anyone have any questions for Steve? Good report as usual. My report is rather short. Catherine, you rock. You passed. You passed. You got an A. It sounds like an A++, 100%.
I will
real.
say two thoughts. It took a long time. There were a lot of people in front of me. So there's a lot of very impressive people in Davidson County that are serving on Metro boards. I learned a lot. They also emphasized and asked about people who watch board meetings remotely, which heightened my awareness of the fact that people can watch us.
Yes.
And then there was someone who got really hard questions, which made me very nervous for my own. I didn't get any hard questions.
They probably were hired. You're just very smart. And we're just excited to have you, and it's a thrill to work with you. And so thank you for saying yes, and thank you, Council and the Mayor's Office for submitting your name. It's great to have you. We had a real good meeting today. A lot of really good stuff going on. I'm excited about, again, how we're moving to the future and how we're streamlining. Shelley, 25 years of doing one. I just want to talk to you after the change comes through and see how we do, right?
By the way, rumors that when Shelley started, she was issued an abacus are truly exaggerated.
But I'll tell you a funny story, Shelley, because it's my report. But so y'all know I always tell y'all about my dad was a bus driver, but he was very serious about safety. He was very serious about when you learned how to drive, you had to drive well, and he had rules. And the biggest one of his many big rules was establishing road position, so you don't cut off people and you don't miss your exits. So my sisters and I, whenever we were in the car with him, he would say, establish road position, but in the most soft and gentle way that he could do it. So we go, he can already say ERP. So when you first said ERP, the only thing I could think of, I did. So I want to thank you very much for an incredible memory of my father and how he taught me how to drive. And I still, to this day, when I'm trying to get over and I can't, I don't use the signal in the car. I just hear ERP and hear my dishwasher. So ERP will always mean that to me. But I am really excited about your new program. I really am. But thank y'all for letting me share. But what I want to say is that it all sort of ties back into what we do. It's always about being safe. It's always about looking ahead of yourself, and it's always about being prepared. And so I think hopefully that story helps you think about how grateful I am that you all are looking for preparation and writers on Dickerson. So I know you'll find them. So with that, wish you all a really good, happy weekend, Labor Day weekend, and let's come back in September and let's go get it. And we are, oh, do we have any new business, Margaret? No new business?
Madam
No.
Chair, one quick
Sure.
note. The 30 acres east of Nestor
Yes.
has gone on the market. And speaking of looking ahead in preparation, it's something we as a board and the staff need to think about. Is that a site that we want to consider as we continue to invest money in the maintenance of Nestor? I know that's been a touchy subject over the years, but it is officially on the market.
That's exciting news and certainly something for us to look to. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. That's awesome to know. Anything else? Anybody else? Any other comments? Anybody have anything for the good? Thank y'all for stepping in and doing what you do. And therefore, we are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov